Hello, my friends. You've probably asked yourself this question if you've ever been new on a job. And the question is, what do I do on day one to set myself up for success? Well, we got that question in from one of my clients who I'm coaching, and I want to walk through this whole idea with my client who is on the call in invisible mode, right? So the very first thing I do before getting into day one is I read up copious amounts about the firm. This is kind of like your building blocks to getting into day one. Don't wait for day one. Before day one, read about the firm, okay? Understand the business lines. You want to understand all of the possible departments, all of the possible interactions. If you don't have this information, you need to ask for it. Ask the recruiter, ask the hiring manager, be a little bit assertive and ask ahead of time. Ask for some information about the department you're going to be working on, how it's structured, what the project is actually like. Is this a multi-year project I'm coming into? Is it a new project? Is it something I'm going to be building from the ground up? And things such as that. You can even ask, who are the key stakeholders that I will be working with? Look, you got to buy yourself some time by asking ahead of time. That's the first thing I would say, right? So you got to do your studying, and then you got to ask the right questions. The recruiter or the hiring manager, hopefully, is going to send you some of that information. Read it, lap it all up, get it into your subconscious, and let that generate additional curiosity and questions. Now, on day one, when you get in on day one, the first thing I would recommend, if you don't already have it, is the map of the company. And I'm talking about the OBS, organizational breakdown structure. I'm a stickler for OBSs. And here's why. Your job as a project manager is going to be a lot more effective if you understand the lines of communication, if you understand the channels of authority. If you don't, you're like someone at sea that doesn't know that they've got all of these valuable resources around them to get out of the sea, to get to dry land. So you got to understand who reports to whom, how are the layers of authority mapped out in the company. This is big. It is so big. And to underscore how big it is, I'll tell you a story of a company that I got into. And the very first thing I did was org chart. Want to see org chart, want to know who's who. And by the time I'd studied the org chart, I was in a meeting with my boss on week 2. And my boss said, oh, introduce yourself and what you're doing with the company. By the time I was done with my introduction, other individuals in the room, senior management in the room, they're like, how long have you been here? You know, and I'll just tell you the firm, there's actually no harm, no shame in the game. It's Honeywell, right? Like, how long have you been here? And the reason why this executive asked me the question was I had mentioned so many key people that each of the people in the room was connected to. I'd mentioned VPs, I'd mentioned C-level people, and I had mentioned how the 3 units under that umbrella of defense and space, how they were interacting. And this person was like, wow, you just been here that long and you already know the company like this? That's the level that I aspire everyone gets to within a few days, maybe a week or 2. You got to know the players, the lines of communication, okay? So as far as what to do on day one, I'm going to read to you from my book, Scrum Mastery, 5 Levels of Leadership for Agile Success. I have a chapter dedicated to this. And it's a bit funny. You probably can't see too well, but that's a very worried looking Scrum Master. And it says, help, it's day one. So here I share with you on the next page, key day one actions. Schedule a meeting with your direct manager or boss to discuss the major purpose for them hiring you and their definition of success. You got to get the DOS. This is what I have done on other jobs. And the DOS is just definition of success. You know, it's a play on words. We have definition of ready, definition of done in Agile. While I have definition of success, you want to get the DOS on day one from your boss. Face-to-face is always good. And any potential impediments or stumbling blocks to your job and definite chief aim. So you need to be really specific on, tell me what is the main goal? What is the definite chief aim? You need to be taking notes when you meet with that boss. Ask about any particular stakeholders that you need to be aware of and any blind alleys that you should avoid. There are always blind alleys. And I remember in one job that I worked at, my boss, he said, Phil, I'm going to station you in this building. I need you to not say nothing. Just be benign. That's become one of my mantras. Be benign. What was he saying? Go in there, soak it all in like a sponge. Keep quiet. Don't say anything. Just keep soaking in the information like a sponge. Sometimes you got to be quiet. And that was a blind alley. He was telling me, hey, if you want to get respect from these people, just be quiet, soak it in, be respectful, and learn. Number 3, take the time to read any relevant documentation or company policies that will help you understand the organization's culture and working style. Introduce yourself to your team members and start building a relationship with them. Now, I don't want to read the whole book to you. That will defeat the purpose, but I'm going to put a link below so that you can go grab a copy, electronic or otherwise, of Scrum Mastery. But I'm going to read the next section on behavior guidelines. Number 1, don't assume people will trust you automatically. Trust needs to be earned. Number 2, take time to understand the team dynamics, the company culture, and expectations for your role. Number 3, be respectful and courteous to everyone you interact with, from the receptionist to the CEO. Number 4, dress appropriately for the environment and ensure that your appearance is clean and professional. Number 5, speak clearly and confidently, but also listen attentively and ask thoughtful questions. Number 6, look for opportunities to contribute, even if they are small. Show that you are eager to learn and willing to help out in any way you can. Remember, the first few weeks and months on a job are critical. This is when you will be forming your first impressions. And by taking these steps, you can start your new job with a clear understanding of your role, responsibilities, and potential challenges. But you don't want to stop there. You want to have daily habits, habits that every single day you're thinking about them. So like I said, relationship building is big. You got to continue to build organizational allies. Now, this is one of the mistakes people make. They get into the firm and they forget that building relationships doesn't end. In fact, the Stanford Research Institute, in one of their surveys a while back, they showed that success in business is not about your technical prowess. It is 87.5% dependent on relationships, on the people around you. My goodness. And here people are thinking it's about technical prowess and how much they know. It's not. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That holds true in business as well. So you want to build relationships ongoing. You want to understand the organization's mission and goals ongoing. A lot of organizations, they have that big old plaque in the front office of what their values are, what their principles are. Embrace those, know them like the back of your hand, and then daily get to know your role. So you're going to find more and more about the role daily. It doesn't happen in a day. I don't care however good the onboarding was. There's going to be a curveball. There's going to be a blind alley. There's going to be a surprise. So don't think that you know everything about the role in a day. That will be foolishness. No, you cannot know everything about the role in a day. I mean, my mind was blown in some of the roles I've been in. I'm like, oh my goodness, you mean this is part of my job? I didn't know that on day one, but you learn, and then learn the systems and processes, find out more about the systems and the processes and learn from your peers. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid in learning from your peers. You need to observe and learn as much as possible. So that means viewing how your colleagues work and taking a look at how decisions are made in the business unit. That is also important. As you begin to get more familiar with your job scope, you'll be able to prioritize tasks and you'll be able to be proactive. You'll be able to take the initiative to learn more about the organization. You'll be able to seek feedback from your colleagues and you'll be able to propose new ideas or solutions to problems. All right. So I agree, overall, getting into a firm without the proper onboarding structure, it could be challenging, but if you focus on those high priority things that I've covered for the past 10 minutes, you absolutely can get up to speed and you can start making a contribution. So let me ask my client to chat in to me if there are any questions, comments, or concerns, and if what I've shared so far has begun to spark that light bulb a little bit more. You want to chat into me and let me know if there's any further questions. Okay, good. I'm glad that it's helpful. Again, for those watching after the fact, it's Scrum Mastery, 5 Levels of Leadership for Agile Success. I walk you through how to be successful as an Agilist, as a Scrum Master, and be very mindful of 5 levels of leadership. All right. Well, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you to my client on the call. We'll go ahead and say goodbye for now.